welcome to Last Drops. Being mad and cheery, I hope you're ready for what's coming your way. Is this going to be an epic installment of reviews of the perfumes, the new perfumes I tried, the things that I've been working on, trying to decide whether to buy a full-size bottle or not, things I was looking to replace, some of the fails. It's going to be all in, including some snazzy accounting of just how mindful is the hedonistic exploration of my very vast perfume collection. Welcome to Last Drops, as we're going to play the chill soundtrack for this series of videos. Please take your time, sit, relax. It's going to take a while. Click on that like and subscribe button. I'm gonna take you for an epic ride.
Last drops, you love what we got. Story so wild to make you smile. Hang with us, it's worth your while. And last drops where we chat with style. We're serving life, smile after mile. Last drops, it's the place to be, where we're keeping it funny naturally. So come on in, be part of our spree. In Last Drops, where we're setting you free.
This is going to be no surprise to many. I'm a big fan of buying, trying, and using up bath and body products by perfume houses. That's in very many facets of the experience. Is probably the most hedonistic side of my obsession with smells and sort of olfactory arts. So I've been using up quite a few so I could free some space for new adventures. I used up La Mia Perla by La Perla lotion. And very frequently you discover when you buy a perfume product that either the product itself is not very good, or sometimes both the product in terms of the functionality of it being a lotion and the perfume are not quite well preserved, not really functioning well together. If you're curious to learn more about why perfumes don't smell the same when we smell them in eau de parfum versus any other oil or, bath and body formulations, watch the Perfume Nation episode with Sam Macer. We go into an exploration of how that works, when does it fail us, and when does it work well. Anyway, La Mia Perla by La Perla is one of those underrated gems in rather affordable designer. It's not even designer, it's like lingerie brand. And yet it's such a cuddle central. It's a very lucky, well-balanced, cuddly, nudie, flirtatious perfume. It's not exactly the most sophisticated creation out there on the planet when it comes to perfume-wise, but it's just like La Perla underwear, actually, in their lingerie. It just fits. And it's like, it really has this quiet luxury feel to it. So I thought lotion would be perfect. I bought it, used it up. I'm not going to repeat that because it's neither a good lotion nor it really performs as a perfume. I cannot really smell much of the original La Mia Perla by La Perla, neither when I apply it nor after. So it's just all in all a flop. So I don't think I will be buying more body products from La Perla, period. That said, I've tried a number of their perfumes. They've released this surprisingly expensive lineup. A subscriber of mine sent me samples. I wasn't that impressed. Not that they're bad, it was just they're not. Neither the bottle design nor the scent design really impressed me in order to justify the price tag. So you might actually not hear much about La Perla on my channel in the upcoming months, beside my all-time favorites that I already have from that house. So that out the window, I'm just using up some other things that I have. And I used up a few more perfumed items. That was my experiment with mint by the house of Diptyque. So this is an interesting thing. They call it mousse pour la douche. So it's foamy shower mousse. obviously it's complementary to their eau de parfum or eau de toilette, which is called Eau de Minthé. So, mint. It is not. I cannot detect mint here. Maybe it's somewhat of a lemony verbena kind of minty feel, but it's not really spearmint, it's not peppermint, it's not really that minty to my nose. And it's just, it reminds me of 1,000 other lemony verbena colognes. And the fact that it's a pressurized mousse, I don't know. I just don't care neither for the formulation of this, nor for the scent itself. So, as I love lemons and mint in fragrances in general, that's probably the formula of my favorite cologne, if it ever existed. Does it? Does it? Anybody? Anybody? Because I don't know one. Haven't found one yet that would be just, that would fit the bill just so. So Eau de Minthé by Diptyque is a big no. I'm not gonna buy a bottle. I'm not gonna try a sample. It was okay. That's all I can say. And it's just, to me, it's just not mint. Let's call spade a spade here. So in going that route and disposing of it, using it up and disposing, I freed myself to do one by one replacement. If you don't know, I'm doing this whole mindful hedonism exploration where I have some fairly flexible rules to curb overspending and shopping addiction. I made a whole Perfume Nation episode about that. You can watch it and kind of borrow the rules for yourself if you find that in any way entertaining or useful. So one of the rules is I can swap one by one, sell one by one. Well, actually, when I'm selling a perfume, I usually sell two. The rule, I install them for myself. Sell two by one. So here, in this mysterious brown box, we have my third shower gel. Guess by whom? Serge Lutens. I love their shower gels. They are dense, they're foamy, they really smell very faithfully of the waters that they represent. So I got waters, and now I have three shower gels that represent the fragrances themselves. And this one is Le Serge Lutens. It's probably the oldest, if I'm not mistaken, the oldest cologne-like water by Serge Lutens. And I don't have this one in eau de parfum. So my sinister plan here is to use it extensively in a hot shower in the morning. Get a good feel for it, because so far these products are very good quality as products and very faithful to their perfumes. I'm gonna use this in a hot shower and get a feel for whether I want a full-size bottle of Le. I already have quite a few waters by Serge Lutens, and I love them, but I'm not sure if I need one more, so we'll see. So Le Serge Lutens is in, Eau de Minthé by Diptyque is out, and I couldn't be happier with my choice so far. I also used up this is a rarity now. This is Amouage Dia. Amouage Dia as a shower gel. I have been praising Amouage for their bath and body lines because they function beautifully as products of what they designed for, to create a wonderful flavored foam or nourish your body. So far, Amouage has been knocking it out of the park when it comes to these formulations, and they usually, in my experience, are faithfully and strongly flavored. You can absolutely tell the fragrance from using these products. So the shower gel that I finished up is Dia, which is an aldehydic rose scent. Dia is not my favorite rose, and aldehydes are not the easiest category of fragrances for me to wear in general, so I was kind of hoping maybe we will become friends as I'm doing it more casually in the kind of short-term exploration. No, we haven't. What I ended up doing, I added a lot of Mitsuko, like a vintage Mitsuko, to to the Amouage Dia to give it a little bit more depth and a little bit more of that je ne sais quoi, like that's something special that gives it richness. Just Dia to my nose, and I did have an 8 ml decant that I used up, so I know what I'm talking about a little bit, just a little. It's just kind of very flat and thin. Like I'm seeking something deeper, oilier almost there, and it's just very flat aldehydic rose to my nose. I can't quite enjoy it as much. So I used up 8 ml of Dia Eau de Parfum. I used up a full-size bottle of the shower gel. And here we're gonna close this discussion on Dia. Not my type of Amouage. I do have my favorites. If you haven't watched the videos, please do. My reviews of the house, I have a whole library collection review just as well. And I think that's the only review that I found on YouTube, surprisingly enough, of the library collection by Amouage. So you can watch that and see, things that worked and things that didn't. But Dia definitely is not something I'm going to go back to. And if you've seen the recent video about seasonal indulgences, the perfume confessional, I found and bought myself a really amazing kind of morning aldehydic scent. And I like it way more than Amouage Dia. To replace that, I allowed myself a little bit of a repetition. Usually I try to conserve every spot for a new perfume, for something truly new, at least to me. But this time I just wanted to enjoy myself a little bit, and I got myself Burberry Body. This is a shower milk. It's kind of smaller than I expected it to be, considering the price. It's only 100 ml, and when it arrived, it was half empty. Great, right? Who doesn't love that? So this is going to be a short story. I absolutely adore Burberry Body Tender Eau de Toilette. A discontinued gorgeous flanker. The Burberry Body Eau de Parfum, the classic one, it's elegant. As all Burberry classics, you can't go wrong with them. They're very right balance of feminine, reserved, and yet elegant. They're not hard to wear. They're very much complimentary and crowd-pleasing perfumes, and yet they're not so overly flamboyant like La Vie Belle or Flower Bombs, as truly American mainstream releases. Classic Burberrys are just, they have a little bit of a class, and that's what I tend to always go back to. Even if I can't easily name many favorites from Burberry, I do have a number of their classics, and I always go back to them. So that's just me having a little bit of a comfort zone, being in my comfort zone, not pushing myself too far. As I was preparing for the massive review of Avant-Garde for the Masses, by other name Etat Libre d'Orange brand, I used up probably a lion's share of the samples that I had from them, and I'm just gonna very quickly give you a rundown, because some of them I wasn't sure if I want to actually try full-size bottles, and many of them I already do own. So She Was An Anomaly. Oddly enough, Etat Libre d'Orange, I had 3 or 4 samples of that. She Was An Anomaly was featured by Etat Libre d'Orange 1,000 times in different blog posts and different kind of little collections and playlists as a feminine yet feminist, modern, contemporary female anthem, if you wish. While in reality, it's the most blasé, boring, typical molecular milky santal perfume. My name is a legion. I just can't fathom, maybe I'm a nosmate or something here, but I just can't fathom what possessed Etat Libre d'Orange to not only to release this as a standalone perfume, but also to give it such a name, because there's nothing anomalous about She Was An Anomaly. It's the most, like, I could easily imagine that could be yet another molecule in that range, just, like one ingredient plus fixative solvent, whatever, and here you go, just a body spray. It's a quiet, milky, woody santal. That's it. And actually, so is Maison Louis Marie, which I've seen popularized by a number of fragrance reviewers, so they might be doing something right when it comes to influencer marketing. So they have a number 4, Bois de Belincourt. I hope I'm saying it right. The number 4, Bois de Belincourt. So it's sandalwood, vetiver, amberwood. Same thing. How? Guys, just please advise. How do you tell them apart? It's just... I mean, I get it. This quiet, nudie, milky santal, this kind of like soft, semi-creamy kind of souffle woodiness that doesn't go sour, that doesn't go smoky, that doesn't go peppery. Just this kind of like quiet ASMR tapping on wood. It's very comfortable. Like, I absolutely did enjoy both, but it's not a... Is that a perfume? Really? What? And they're all the same. All of them. Or is it just me? Maybe it's just me. I apologize. If any of these are your favorites, I apologize. If you love I Was An Anomaly, please, we all beg you, give us a comprehensive review and tell us how to study it. Because I'm willing to do my homework, but I need guidance. I do not understand what that was. Oh, okay. I'm not done with the Etat Libre d'Orange. Yes, I do. Lovely, crowd-pleasing Lily of the Valley scent. Probably the most wearable Lily of the Valley I've had to date. Hate the marketing of it. If you want to read up the story of it, it's just the most misogynistic, derogatory toward women, just disgusting toilet humor marketing I've probably ever encountered. They've changed it a lot since, but to me, the thought is there. I just, if I was a Etat Libre d'Orange, I would just discontinue it, reformulate it, just make it into a more cheerful or something flanker, rename it, publish it again. It's truly nice Lily of the Valley, kind of poppy, easy to wear, not headache inducing, nothing really bothering me about this. It's lovely, but I can't stand what it is about. I just can't. It's a big no. A huge surprise for me. I fell in love with something that I crossed off my map a while ago as I was preparing the Etat Libre d'Orange review, and that was I Am Trash. It is... Should I tell you again or not? Okay, I'll tell you, but be advised, if you're too sensitive like I am, don't watch their original advertisement of I Am Trash. That was, in a very different way, just equally disgusting. They pretty much put a lot of trash and flowers and fruits on like a flat lay, and they let nature take its way. There was life there. It was... Definitely don't watch it before, having dinner or lunch. Just don't. Anyway, but if you take that out of your system, if you just kind of wiped the slate clean, I fell in love with how juicy, sour, sweet these apples are. Apple obviously is not a flower. You cannot quite easily extract some kind of essence or essential oil from apples that would smell of apples. So perfumers have to reconstruct it from raw and synthetic materials. And I Am Trash is way more cheerful, bubbly, flirty, and lovely than the advertisement of it would suggest. Also, that was one of their attempts to jump on the sustainability bandwagon. I'm all for it. Like better with than without. So I used up like 3 samples. You know what's coming, right? You know what's coming. I got myself a full-size bottle. Welcome to my perfume library. I Am Trash. I love it, and so timely for the summer. I love it. I just love it so much. I can't believe I spent all these years thinking that it's disgusting because I had the imagery in my mind. It's cheerful. It's flirty. It's fun. Perfect apples for summer. I Am Trash, Etat Libre d'Orange. Talking of another cutie, Pink Paradise by Lalique. As I told you before, when you have such a huge collection, and mine is not probably the biggest on YouTube, definitely not, the way that I enjoy, yes, I enjoy holding the bottles, and spraying, it's all great, but often I'm so disorganized or in a rush. The best it works for me is proactively once a week, once in 2 weeks, just get all the decant bottles, clean them or get the new ones, and spray whatever I dedicated for that season or something like well forgotten that I want to bring back into the rotation, get them into the decant bottles and just distribute them in all the purses, in the car, in the pockets, on all the tables. Like my house is it's a mess. It's a semi-organized chaos, but it's a deliciously smelling one. So I have these little decants everywhere, and every once in a while I feel like, oh, this is almost empty, I better kill it and move on. So this is my way of not only trying new, but also enjoying what I have. So I finished 2 ml decant of Lalique. This is the best limited edition, or they are more like higher priced version from their highest price line that I found. I've tried quite a few of these bottles, and Pink Paradise, to my taste so far, is the most unique and punchy. It's punchy and fun in the niche bubble gum type of way. So recently I've been very fortunate to get a sample of Acne by Frederic Malle from their boutique in Las Vegas. And I mean, that is a whole another video. We gotta talk about that. We have to talk about that. There's so much to say about Acne Studios with Frederic Malle perfume. But if you tried it, because that's probably what's more accessible, it has this unique combination of deep, modern, linear, loud, yet interesting. And that's what Pink Paradise has for me. When I smell it, I feel this bubblegummy, kind of neon pink with a little bit of bitterness, like one of those neon pink or neon blue daiquiri cocktails that you get in a 5-star hotel that is all futuristic and, clean looking. And you think, it's synthetic, I'm not a big fan. And then before you know it, you order a 4th one. That's what it is. It's unapologetically contemporary, flirty, young, yet it has a bite to it. This little sour, sweet bitterness just grabs my attention. I love it. I recently shared a decant of that with a few friends, and one of them said that it was an interesting review. He said he's a drag queen on the side as of his day job as a lawyer, interesting, right? It by itself is just fascinating. People's lives are fascinating. And he said that that was a seamless transition between day and night jobs. You go figure. So Pink Paradise, 2 ml down, and I will be making more decants because, again, summer is upon us, and I feel this is just, it's like summer in the city. So good. I finished up Cologne by Etat Libre as part of that prep for the review. Not my type of cologne. It's actually a really reliable representation of what a classic Italian cologne should be like. Long-lasting, rich, nothing wrong with it. To me, it's just, I'm not a big fan of classical cologne formulas. I like anything but that for my morning perfume. So, not for me. But Cologne by Etat Libre d'Orange, I told you, long-lasting, and on the secondary market, you can sometimes find it for peanuts. If you already have your colognes, nailed down in your collection, I don't know. Feel free to disagree. I don't think it will change your world. If you don't even know what is an Italian cologne, what does it mean? And you kind of just starting to study perfumery genres and trying to become more familiar with the terminology and the types, you can find it really cheap, and it's a really, really good representation of what is an Italian cologne. That's what I love for my morning. Serge Lutens waters. So Perla Dew, which is lemon, melting icicles, and pine. Finished 2 ml. Love it, love it. We'll be making more decants and putting them everywhere. It's my favorite way to start the day, in the shower, out the shower. Simple, but non-offensive, non-synthetic. That's what I love about Serge Lutens waters. They maybe are not as natural and breathable as some of the citrusy or like more classical Italian formulas of citrus perfumes. I don't want to say colognes because citrusy morning perfumes is a much larger territory than classical colognes. So it's not what I would call the most believable naturalistic combination of lemons and fruits or, breathing air. But they have such purity about them that I can't have enough. So favorite is a favorite. At least you can see that, I'm not just showing you a bottle once and you never see it again. Like, they're favorites for a reason. Moving on. When I'm all moody and done with the humanity, which is surprisingly often, I go for this one. So yet another 2 ml that I finished for my collection. This is Greyland by Menthol. I swear to God, Menthol has 1,000 faces. They became viral in the world of niche perfumery as a very affordable, loud, linear perfume brand that was blending American love for flamboyant glamour with Middle Eastern obsession with long-lasting and deep perfumes. So their roses musks, their chocolate greedy, like all of their gourmands, pretty much they blew up the perfume market back in the day, in the, early 2000s, 2010s. And then they exploded, they made their coin, don't feel bad for Menthol, and then they kind of went away. They still exist. There's a Mancera, which is a daughter brand or kind of sister brand of Menthol, but they clearly lost a little bit of their explosive nouveau riche, get rich quick glamour. And they were making so many fragrances that it became dizzying even to keep up with what's going on. So I just unplugged. But now that they have hundreds of creations under their belt, that they still managed to produce, I don't know how they sustain that much production. Every once in a while, I try a random Menthol. It's like, that is actually good. And I'm like, I look around like, please don't, nobody throw rotten tomatoes at me. But this is good, and this is much more affordable than some of those conceptual Swedish niche brands that you have to fly to, I don't know, Stockholm, and then take a ferry to Copenhagen to get it, and the only one boutique that sells them. Like, it's beautifully melancholic. Think this kind of facing the north wind, standing on a rock somewhere in Scotland at the end of August. You can tell the summer is dying. This chilling feeling is already in the air. And it's like, yep, the winter is near. It's just so uncharacteristically melancholic, reserved, and streamlined for Mantal that I love it even more for that this is Mantal. So Greyland, big fan, partially because it's simple. It's I don't have to torture myself to get a very clear glimpse into Greyland. Something that's a little deeper, a little more complex, and also a little bit with a more projection would be Rouge Bunny Rouge, and that is Tundra, which I guess much more clearly represents the picture that I'm trying to convey. They are relatives, but this is even more kind of almost mushroomy in a way. Like, Tundra is more nutty, is a little bit more vetiver-ish. Greyland is so beautifully black and white. Not cold, but chilling. Just a little bit chilling and melancholic. I love them both, but if I'm really in a bland, somewhat apathetic mood, when you feel like, oh, it's been a while since I read poetry, Greyland. Okay, moving on. This I did not understand at all. As many of you have requested, there shall be a Cartier house review. So I'm starting my journey on kind of refreshing my memory of some of their classics and trying to get my hands on some of the new things. And Perla La's are still nowhere to be found. Asking for sponsors. Guys, if anybody can put their hands on a Perla La sample or decant, please share. I tried in Las Vegas Cartier boutique, and I didn't get very far. At the end, they swore. It's like, we swear we don't have it. It's not like we don't want to give you a sample. We swear it hasn't arrived yet. It's like, I don't believe you. It's on the website. I just don't like my hair color. Anyway, let's leave that story for another day. It was quite a conversation I had at the Cartier boutique. Anyway, Eau de Cartier. What the hell is this? This is why, guys, this, and colognes or whatever, fragrances like that is the reason you don't see more fragrances for men reviews on my channel. What the hell? This is a flanker. Vetiver Blue. Eau de Cartier, Vetiver Blue. How on earth do you differentiate that from a windshield wiper liquid? This is the most typical reason why I don't really like men fragrances. How? Where is vetiver? Why blue? How is it even different from any locker room typical, this like screeching, ozonic, synthetic fougere? I can't even describe it to you. Like, I sprayed it a couple of times. I really tried on my skin, on the blotter, then on a towel. It's like, I just don't ever want to feel this again. Because not that it's bad. Okay, it's bad. I don't like it. And also, it's indistinguishable from tens of thousands of other scents. Okay, so definitely not my favorite, but we're going to move on into the territory of roses. Because I've been kind of like pushing myself not to buy a full bottle of one of the very expensive roses on the market. We'll get to it. So I went through everything I had just in the desperate attempts to kind of double check my feelings about it. So I finished up my second 8 ml decant of Holy Rose by Room 1015, and as some of you remember, some of you don't, I got myself a bottle. I have 100 ml, and if you want a decant, you should, because it's the most bohemian high rose. She's just permanently high. I don't know what to tell you. This girl hasn't worked an hour in her life. She's enjoying herself. Beautiful, a little bit marijuana kind of feel rose. Oh, so good. Love it. So that was money well spent. I think I'm dropping things now. Next was finishing up a very, very popular rose by Etat Libre d'Orange, Herman Amekate. I don't love their long names. Okay, people usually call it Herman or Herman. I know that odor protection that I have here too is a little bit more popular. It's much more punchy. To me, it's very sour. Whatever that is, the muskiness or ambroxaniness or God knows what it is. But to me, odor protections is so animalic and sour that I can't really enjoy it. So that's out. Used it up. Not going to go back to that. But Ermin was a little bit more green, a little bit more grassy, much more sophisticated. Like Ermin is an actually interesting niche greenish rose. That said, there is one that I like more. And that is now discontinued. Gosh, everything is becoming discontinued within 3 months of its release now. Now, Valentino Rosa Verde. I have a really large stash of it, so if you want yourself a decant of this beautiful bergamote, breathable, it's like rose with mint and bergamot all combined together. It's everybody who asks me for like the freshest rose floral, but just feels like a breath of cold air, but not freezing, more like something that opens your lungs. Rosa Verde by Valentino. Beautiful stuff. So Herman doesn't create that feeling. And when it comes to other green roses, I have plenty of choices. One of them actually is my repeat attempt to fall in love with Blouse by Yves Saint Laurent. This is iconic. This is the musky, somewhat kind of lychee bitter fresh rose. Clearly, it's not Fleur Narcotique type of melody. But in many ways, when it comes to musky, fresh, delicate, almost austere roses, Blouse by Yves Saint Laurent is the paragon. That's where it's at. Everything else can be benchmarked by it. But to me, maybe I'm just getting old and sentimental. I would enjoy a little bit more of a lychee note there. Just a little bit more of a sweetness, because this is an ice queen. It's gorgeous, prohibitively expensive, and for me was surprisingly hard to enjoy. It's my second sample. I've been through probably a total 6 or 7 ml of it at this point, so I think I formed my opinion. Some other musky lychee rose has to arrive into my life for me to pull the trigger. If you know of anything that I should explore, or if you can share a decant, please let me know. So, Yves Saint Laurent Blouse, compliments to the chef. Clearly a classic 10 out of 10 representative of this genre. It's not quite for me. Next one was my attempt to combine rose with incense, the note of the year as I predicted it. And no, also, quick detour. Did you notice what kind of new releases have been coming out? Mineral incense. You just can smell it in the air, I'm telling you. Anyway, incense and rose. Two beautiful specimens here that I tried. This one is hard to find, and a lot of people who own the bottle will never ever share a decant, but I got one. This is Rose Infernal by Terry de Gansbourg. I think the whole line is now discontinued, and Terry de Gansbourg, I think, is not that well known even. It's, I think, more of a European clout. Correct me if I'm wrong, that it has, like, in the States, almost nobody knows about it. But they've had some really gorgeous perfumes in their, like, expensive niche collection. And when the perfume is called Rose Infernal, I mean, come on. You had me at the Infernal, right? It is depressively sour. And I'm fairly certain nothing bad happened to my bottle. It's just the way it's composed. Incense is a tricky one. You can make it a lot like different kinds of churches. And I enjoy that, but it's a very specific look on a fragrance. But to pull more unusual aspects of incense is a very tricky, at least what I see in the products that are featuring incense in their olfactory compositions. It's much easier to fail than to succeed. I can smell the rose and somewhat this kind of Bulgarian rose sourness. And I can smell the incense, but it only makes it more sad and sour. It's like it kind of drags it down, just like a very monotonous and boring dialogue that never goes anywhere. So I tried and tried, but the 2 ml of Rose Infernal by Terry de Gansbourg convinced me that I don't need to hunt for it across the world. The other one that I thought, like, that's gonna be a flamboyantly glamorous incense because it is Andy Tauer's incense. This is Incense Rose by Andy Tauer. I think the number is number 6. And it's definitely loud. But that's that kind of flamboyantly loud that you just pray will, like, choke on a cherry or something. I am not a violent person, but even spraying this once to deodorize my shoes was too much. Incense Rose by Andy Tauer you can use to exorcise demons out of your house. And this is why clearly I had to stop using it. So I don't know how I meant, like, it was not a personal use. I can assure you. I managed somehow to get it out just because I have so much respect for Andy Tauer. Like, I can't just throw it away. I need to somewhere. But man, it's it reminds me of one of the Amouage Library scents. It's kind of Middle Eastern in that respect. So if you're looking for a more affordable option of jammy rose, almost like syrupy, imagine like something super syrupy with the rose and piercing, very long lasting, grabbing your attention, sour in my impression, incense. It's sour not in a musky way, but it's potent. It's some potent stuff. So if you're into Middle Eastern perfumes, I feel the Swiss Andy Tauer Incense Rose might be, like, first of all, their perfume bottles are super unique and very cool. It's very collectible, at least to have one. And it might be cheaper. Not might be, it is it is more affordable than Amouage Library. So for the sake of the diversification, maybe try it. I also know Andy Tauer is very generous with their perfume samples, and they have sampler sets that are beautifully packaged. They're really, actually really cool. So maybe you'll enjoy that. I just leave the room. It's too much. All right, and now we're down to what actually started this frenzy of comparisons. I was down finishing up the Elizabethan Rose by Penhaligon's. I had this sample for probably 5 years, if not longer. And Elizabethan Rose, back in the day, to me was like, oh, just yet another rose, I don't care. And lo and behold, I have COVID twice, which did change my perception of smells. I now realize I used to be hypersensitive to a lot of components, and now I think I'm more squarely fall right in the middle of general population. So I started enjoying way more fragrances than I could before. And I started noticing more facets because one component would not overshadow the whole composition like it used to happen to me. So in a way, blessing in disguise. So I started feeling these delicious blackcurrant jam, kind of blackcurrant preserves, and kind of lychee fruity things in the Elizabethan Rose. And it lasts forever. You spray it on your hair or like on your clothes, it will be coming with whiffs at you the whole day. I don't know how it does it, but it absolutely delivers on these dynamic longevity. So after looking around, I have some sweeter roses, but nothing was quite like that. It's like, this is just the right combination of sweetness and freshness and flirtatiousness. I got myself a bottle secondhand. Yes, it is. This story doesn't end well. You know. I know you know. It is spoiled. Cute bottle though. It smells like rotten. Like a rose oil that started growing mold. I tried. It's like, maybe it's an older edition and like my sample is newer, or vice versa. It's just spoiled. It just doesn't smell good. There's something absolutely wrong with this. And unfortunately, it has nothing. It's not even close to the contemporary flirtatiousness of how Penhaligon's composed Elizabethan Rose. Not even close. This is just dated, dusty, and rather kind of like moldy type of perfume. So I'm gonna use it for decor. That's all I can do with it now. I can't resell this crap. I don't want anybody else to get disappointed in the Elizabethan Rose because it's a gorgeous fruity berry rose perfume. So that's money down the drain, but at least you see that I voted with my money. And before we jump into an army of gourmands that I've been sorting my thoughts around, because who doesn't need more gourmands? Like, we all need at least 10 more, right? I'll show you something. I think that's actually quite special, because not only this is a very hard to find perfume, I finished the whole thing and I have a backup. This is Serge Lutens Dame Blonde, a soft floral soft leather. Leather here is nothing like what we think of leather fragrances these days. It's not a car smell, it's not a leather purse. It's more, gosh, a lot of you younger folks don't have that luxury that I do, huh? Well, let me tell you a story. When I was a kid, women still wore leather gloves. And they wore them for heat protection, right? In winter, they wore them as a fashion accessory. I'm that old, yes. And it was considered to be a really elegant, romantic gift for a woman to receive a pair of thin, back in my day it was called Leica. It's like this super soft, very, very thin leather. It's very elastic. And I guess the way that they conditioned that leather for those, and that was it. So it's pretty much like second skin. Sorry, imagine that. Like imagine like a second skin, very thin elastic leather, very soft, polished, usually came with some kind of embroidery or some kind of decorative work, and you would just put it like as a fashion accessory essentially. They had, the way that they conditioned that leather had this characteristic somewhat floral leathery scent. And again, leather by itself, right, we know the origins, it doesn't smell nice. So what we think is leather is all of the flavorings, all of the aromatic materials that they submerge and kind of process the leather with, so it doesn't stink as a final product. So that's what this smells like to me. Those delicate, very expensive, highly decorated, thin leather gloves that women used to wear. It kind of also reminds me of the movie Only Lovers Left Alive. Have you seen that? Right? Because like they kind of invented some sort of rituals for the vampires so they could distinguish themselves from the mortals, and they always wore gloves. And the sign of recognizing your own was taking off a glove, giving your hand. So I feel like we gotta bring gloves back. I love this perfume. That said, I have a backup. Will I use it now? No, I think I'll save it till the early fall. And when I'm done with the backup, my sinister plan is to get Mortal Skin by Humbert Loucan. I'm kind of like, I had a decant and I fell in love with it, and I've had a long romantic history with Dame Blonde by Serge Lutens, but it's so prohibitively expensive now, it's so hard to find. I think I'm ready to move on to another soft floral leather. In the meantime, I actually do have a summer soft leather, which is also one of the notes of the year, mind you. Actually, do you have a favorite soft leather? Please leave a comment below if you have your own version to wear. The one that I'm going to wear this summer is relatively new to my collection. This is Monde de Narcisse by L'Artisan Parfumeur. To me, this is dried bananas and then somewhat melancholic, like a green, like stems of flowers. It's not floral, it's more like the stems of tulips, if you wish. Well, and narcissus, that kind of also explains it, type of leather. I am curious how this contrast of sweet, flirty, dry bananas toward that green, melancholic, light leather scent, how's that going to play out in heat of summer? Kind of curious. So this is what I'm going to be replacing it with until I'm ready to unbox the backup. Finally, the army of gourmands. You've been waiting for it, and I got you covered. We have a lot. I've been working. Dolce & Gabbana, Velvet Desire. They are boutique line, super expensive, very criticized at the time of its release because they were kind of blah. I do have my favorite mimosa from them though, and I have a delightful wood scent. So this would be the third one, Velvet Desire. I used up, 8 mil or maybe 6 mil probably. It's kind of this tuberose white florals. There's nothing that spectacular about it, and I think that's pretty much conforms to what people thought of the line, of that boutique line by Dolce & Gabbana. It's just, it's all right. It's a semi-sweet floral tuberose, whatever. I'm not particularly impressed, no. Oh my god, that took a while to work through. This is Maison Francis Kurkdjian and their famous amber Grand Soir. Oh, I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Not a big fan. It's not bad. It's not a bad amber. It's actually one of the also like run of the mill good amber. It's a little bit resinous. It's a little bit smoky. It has a little bit of everything, and I think that's probably what they were going for. They were going for these classic opulence. Think Art Deco, Gatsby era, but without any extra hard angles. For example, Byzantine Amber by Francesca Bianchi, I'm blanking today, is way more deeper, richer, smokier, and to me hard to wear. This is like kind of like midway there, but it's not my favorite amber. My favorite amber still, and I used up, 10 mil? My favorite amber, the most well-rounded of them all, is L'Ambre Extreme by L'Artisan Parfumeur. And even though working diligently from this huge travel didn't change that. Next, it's going to be a rapid fire reviews. Bulgari Rubinia, second decant. So it's going to be a total of 9 mil that I've used up of Bulgari Rubinia. Wonderful, soft, rich vanilla, but I'm over it. Moving on. It's just not special enough. Like, I thought I loved it. I thought I wanted a full-size bottle. Then I looked it up and like choked on the price. And I was like, yeah, maybe I don't love it as much. Just saying. The very generous decant that I got from a subscriber, Etat Libre d'Orange Divine Enfant. The most annoying, sweet, powdery scent you'll ever encounter. It's just incessant. And for those of you who think long-lasting, loudly projecting powder fragrance is not possible, if you're one of those people who constantly research beast mode fragrances, try that. It's true. Powdery fragrances tend to be on a quieter, more demure side. This guy just fucking screams. And by design so. If you read up about the history of Divine Enfant by Etat Libre d'Orange, it was designed to be the smell of the powder you put to prevent rashes on the baby, with the character of a screaming baby. And they absolutely succeeded. I hate this stuff. It is extraordinarily true to the brief. Compliments to the chef. We'll never do it again. Oh, that you can torture me with. This is Memo Sintra. Relatively new, released by Memo. I mean, nothing is so new anymore. Because I keep counting years from COVID, and it's been 4 years since then. Memo Sintra is the most cloying white floral with a ton of caramel and condensed milk. If you can never find enough of white floral caramel sweetness in any perfume, Memo Sintra will get all the bees to you. It's just so smothering. Even the smallest spray of it, I would wash that hand, it would not come off. I don't know what kind of nuclear stuff they put in there, but this is the one. The liquid caramel, the one that you can find in Starbucks and put it in any coffee drink. Caramel, vanilla, some kind of white, sweet, glowing white florals. That's Memo Sintra. Oh my God, that was a nightmare for me. Spice Must Flow by Etat Libre d'Orange as a prep to the brand review. Watch it. I'll talk about it there. I have a full-size bottle that was just a decant that a subscriber sent to me. Classic, kind of forgettable oud, like European style oud rose scent. Fine, but nothing to write home about. Baraonda by Nessumato. The only full-size bottle that I own by Nessumato and that I sold. Because to me, Baraonda is supposed to be this, think port. It's like sweet condensed red wine. It has a ton of projection. It travels really well in space. It lasts forever because Nosamato, so like their 30 mils are extract de parfum. They all are quite potent. Unfortunately, to my nose, Barraonda smells of those homeless people who drink cheap box wine, fall asleep, pee on themselves, and wake up, repeat the cycle. I've encountered quite a few in my travels, usually somewhere by like bus or train station, and this a very characteristic sour smell of a stage 4 alcoholic who is also hasn't bathed in a long time. It's unforgettable. And Barraonda, it's 10 of them. Barraonda is 10 of them that will stay with you forever. I once accidentally sprayed it, not accidentally, I sprayed it on a blotter. And I put it in my pocket. And I was walking around, I was like, oh my God, who peed on themselves here? Like, what the hell? Like, I'm in a really nice part of town. And then I, to my horror, realized the smell is coming from me. Like, I kid you not. Like, I questioned, was like, did I soil myself and did not notice? I was like, how? The horror. Just, I know it's silly, but like, try to put yourself in my shoes. I was mortified. I was like, why do I smell like this? Did I touch something? Did I sit somewhere? Is it like on my shoe? And then I pull out that blotter. It's like, oh, Nosamato Barraonda. Not for me. But for those who like it, it smells of dessert red wine, lasts a long time, and has a lot of projection. Sarah Jessica Parker Cavette. It's like one of those like underrated mass market gems, supposed to be chocolates and something else. I tried to like it, but to me it was just too flat. I guess I like black, like dark chocolate. I don't like the milky chocolate as much, so it didn't really deliver much for me, so I'm not going to be hunting. The Cavette is now discontinued, and this is one of those rare cases when a celebrity fragrance becomes really hyped. And Sarah Jessica Parker had quite a few good ones that people really appreciated, all the way from people who only have $10 to spend on perfume up to like niche highbrow connoisseurs. So she did one or two things right. As much influence as she could have on Coty, who was controlling her perfume lines, but you know, that's not bad. It's a little bit more interesting than the rest of them. But no, I'm not gonna hunt for it. Adam Levine. And a very loud, flirtatious vanilla that he made in the shape of a microphone, by the way. Did you see my new snazzy microphone? Isn't that cool? Fun celebrity fragrance, very youthful. I would I could gift it to a teenager, but myself, no. Replica lipstick on. A beautiful gourmand iris. Sweet, powdery iris. My guilty pleasure. For the longest time, I loved lipstick on by Replica and didn't buy it because I felt it was cheesy. I felt like the whole Replica range was kind of like, I felt like I should like Serge Lutens, earlier memos, you name it. Like I was kind of like trying to be smarter than I am, and I kept coming back to lipstick on by Replica until they discontinued it, and I didn't have a bottle. So my subscriber for my birthday sent me a full-size bottle of lipstick on by Replica. I have it. I'm just using up the samples that I hoarded over time. 2 Kilians from now, I think it's either discontinued or repackaged. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They had these like black balls, youthful collection that was so heavy-handed in its marketing. It was so cringe. Anyway, so a subscriber sent me 2 to try. Kissing by Kilian and After Sunset by Kilian. One smells like a fruity sweat, you know, like a t-shirt that you wore to the gym 5 times and just applied a, you know, fruity perfume over it instead of washing it. And the second smelled of kind of like marshmallows, which is fine, but no. Moving on. 500 Years Etat Libre d'Orange. Oh, how much I wanted to hate this one, because this is a syrupy, sweet, kind of praline, sweet upon sweet gourmand. Not my thing at all. I just spent a fair amount of time putting down examples like that, but I love it. 500 Years by Etat Libre d'Orange is one of those rare, very edible gourmands. And I was like, I don't hate this, actually. I would rather have 500 Years than any of their new releases. Spice Must Flow is just bland in comparison. So if you have a sweet tooth and you come across like a good decant, or maybe like a discounted bottle, because these new collection is kind of expensive by Etat Libre d'Orange. It's like a premium line by them. 500 Years is kind of dope. It's a dope edible gourmand. I'll sign off for that. All right. Jazzbox Beat Cafe left no memory. Somebody who used it more than me, please tell us what you think. Just like, no. Oh, this is painful. Oh, the Italian niche. MDCI. Yeah, that one that cost $400 for a castrated design and $700 with those beautiful antique sculptures as lids. And I so want some of them. It hurts. Shipper Palatine. Beautiful, sweet shipper. I am in love. I don't know how they delivered such a nice balance. This is what I wish Mitsuka was. Cartier La Panther Parfum formulation from Cartier, and I guess like Eau de Parfum, they are like related, obviously. I would say it's a more mainstream and very wearable thing, but like I can smell money on Shipper Palatine. MDCI, their Pêche Cardinal. Oh, these are the most. This is like sitting in the living room of Dolce & Gabbana's mansion. Those peaches with that tuberose. Oh, it's dripping in juice. And Shipper Palatine is just regal. It's a regal semi-sweet shipper. It's not too sour. It's not too leathery. It's not too green. It's not too patchouli. It's not too sweet. It's not too fruity. It's just... Oh, I want it. I'm not going to buy it. It's ridiculous. Why? Maybe if I can find like a small one, like 10 mil, 15 mil, maybe. But then you don't get the bottles. And they're very, very collectible bottles. Okay, moving on. Banana Republic. Oh, that's a popular one. A lot of people will be probably curious about this and looking for it when the fall comes. Banana Republic Dark Cherry Amber. Potentially discontinued, but I bet you can find them for good price on secondary market. Nice sour cherries, because when we talk about cherry perfumes, it's usually those, how are they called, maraschino cherries. It's the sweet cocktail cherries that are like super syrupy sweet, or the cherry tobacco where you get into this hookah bar type of mode. But sour cherries that anybody who is from Europe or Eastern Europe will instantly recognize the nostalgia there, are very special. They're very unique, and they're nothing like those hookah bar cherries. So, Dark Cherry Amber by Banana Republic delivers on sour cherries. So, if you've been hunting after that nostalgic, you know, like the cherry preserves from your youth, from your childhood, this might be an affordable option unless it became a collectible, which it could. It already had some fame in the blogs because it's rare. It's rare to find sour cherries. And again, Banana Republic Dark Cherry Amber is definitely delivering on the sour cherry side. And the last one is Comptoir South Pacific Vanille Café. Yet another brand that became super famous for its edible vanilla gourmands. Vanille Café is kind of a simpler, joyful, and way more affordable version of many rose musk, woody vanilla type of fragrances. Mantal goes there, though Mantal is fairly affordable. Laboratory Olfativo Black Line, half of their perfumes have something like that. Mancera, the Comptoir South Pacific Vanille Café, or any other vanilla. I find that Vanille Café is very quintessential of a whole genre of the somewhat spicier gourmand vanillas that are not too fruity, not too floral. They are just kind of like these indiscriminate sweet baking spices of it all. It's a little bit of everything, and it's very simple, it's very enjoyable, and it's fairly long lasting. I wouldn't say that lasts forever, but a fair amount. Will I buy myself a full-size bottle? No, this is not my kind of vanilla. To be honest, Comptoir South Pacific hasn't really impressed me with their creations that much. I enjoy them and then I forget about them. That's kind of how it goes for me. And now, where my accountability kicks in. I've done the math, and since the last installment of Last Drops, I've used up 130 milliliters of perfume. That's not counting all of the sprays that, bottles that I haven't finished yet, or sprays from the full-size bottles, because I only count them when I arrive at an empty flacon or empty bottle or empty decant, and that's where we get together to discuss here. I was pretty happy with my explorations. I felt my attention was spread too thin, trying to do lilacs, trying to do Etat Libre d'Orange, kind of looking into Cartier, and also exploring all the roses. I do want the summer to be a little bit more clustered, an area of clustered interests. So I am not changing perfumes 10 times a day and there's not much of commonality in between them. I want to be more of in a focus mode. That said, is that dangerous? Like, will it become me more narrow-minded? Will it bias my nose to only recognize certain notes? I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. Will it also make the huge extravaganzas like Last Drops too boring? If I end up reporting on 100 perfumes and doing comparisons, but they all fall into the same 4 groups of olfactory genres, is that redundant? You let me know. But I am craving focus lately. I am definitely on the path of finding some olfactory peace. There is so much. There is so much of it. And it seems like even if I sample every 5th release, it feels like it's so deserving of my attention, and even that is one too many. I hope you can relate to the struggle. Please let me know how you handle that. And with this, let's finally finish our documentary, The Last Drops of Spring 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something useful. Please, if you're having second thoughts or recommendations, or you have kind of rebuke points to my reviews, share them in the comments down below. Comments are rather frequently better than the video itself, and I take very personal pride in the kind of people I encounter and become friends with on this channel. So check out the comment section. Leave your saga below. What are you doing with perfume usage? Are you mindfully using perfumes? Are you exploring the wide, like throwing a wide net? I want to know all of it. Let's talk. Also, check out other people's comments. Get to know each other. Leave each other's comments, because some of them are truly gems. Some of the information shared on this channel in the comment section in the videos is just priceless. And for that, I thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna put on a very smooth, chill track for you so you're not rushed to jump to the next universe of YouTube. So click on that subscribe button, click on the like button, enjoy the tune, leave a comment. I'll see you in the next one.
Hey there, you've reached the end, but don't just depart. Hit like, subscribe, it's a way to take part. Your support, your love, it's an art. Together we grow, play our part in this job. It's more than a click, it's a bridge, a connection, a way to sustain. To fuel this direction, each light, each sub, a show perfection. We're in this together, seeking perfection. Like and subscribe, be the vibe, keep us alive. In this digital sea, it's how we fly. Your support is the core, the drive. In this world of content, we're the prototype. Donations, contributions that keep the lights on. Fueling our passion from dusk till dawn. It's not just content, it's a bond.